Say what you will about this show, I'm still really enjoying the world building and all the new lore. In this week's episode, we got to see the real roots of Huntress Wizard. We got some more interesting lore on Prismo, which makes me regret doing that full character breakdown on him. I hate myself. And finally, all the plot lines are starting to come together. This is a full breakdown of Season 2, Episode 4, The Cat Who Tipped the Box. The episode begins with narration from Spirit Warrior / Dream Warrior, for now I'm just gonna assume they're the same person, explaining the origin of Huntress Wizard, even before we saw her training with him. There was once a huntsman who lived deep in the forest with his wife. Unfortunately, they were unable to conceive a child. Then one day, he went into the woods to hunt for food, and he came across a baby plant girl who, as we all know, would become Huntress Wizard. The huntsman adopts her and even trains her to become a skilled hunter just like he is. And the three all lived in harmony.
Lies!
One night, their barn gets set on fire. Huntress Wizard survives, but both of her adoptive parents are killed. She buries them before secluding herself deep in the forest. Yeah, it's a very classic, maybe even cliche backstory, but one that fits Huntress Wizard's character. Throughout the show, she's shown to always push people away and work alone. It happened in the OG show when she pushed Finn away despite liking him. We saw this happen in episode 2 of this season when, after being inducted into the Green Wizard clan, she told them,
No, I'm on my own.
She doesn't want to get close to anyone because inevitably they'll die and leave her all alone. She believes it to be a weakness. Her arc is similar to Martin, Finn's father. He too lost everything he cared for, so his coping mechanism is to just be an asshole, while hers is to seclude herself from anyone. His arc ended with him running away and being reincarnated into something else. I doubt her arc will end the same way. If it does, I'll be pissed. This scene also got me thinking about Farmworld Finn. There's been massive speculation going on ever since the first season that his wife was a version of Huntress Wizard, and it makes me wonder, did she die in a fire just like her parents? There's that moment in season 1 where he stares pensively into the fire, and even though we hear his past self, the unhinged version of him, laughing in the background, I can't help but think he might also be remembering her. We already know Farmworld Finn carries a massive weight of guilt and PTSD from his time as a crazed ice wizard. This scene shows that he's someone who deliberately stays close to fire because it helps him keep that trauma from resurfacing. But if his wife died in a fire, that comfort becomes a deeply conflicting reminder. It would add a new layer as to why he hears that haunting laugh. Being near fire isn't enough to keep those harsh, cold memories at bay. Is it a stretch? Maybe, but I've heard crazier theories. I'm not going to spend too much time on Fionna and Cake's world, mostly because it's still the least interesting storyline in the show, but there are a few things I noticed that I wanted to mention. See, in one scene, after Marshall Lee ends the call with his mom, we see this guy staring at him. I noticed him in episode 2 of the season 2, spying on the gang when they were at the bar. At first, I thought it was just a background character, but seeing him in this episode now, clearly something eerie's afoot. This could be his mother's bodyguard or something, or maybe it's someone working for Queenie. It's been a while since I've seen season 1, so this could be another character that I'm totally forgetting. Let me know your best guesses down below. He also trips over Ice Cream Queen, or Ice Queen, and he gives a shocked look, while she just nods. I always wondered if these two had some backstory, given that Marceline and Ice King did in our universe. This interaction confirms that there definitely is. I don't know if they would go with the memory loss plotline like they did for Simon. I mean, she nods when looking at him before running away. Maybe they just drifted apart. As I and many others had theorized, once we return to our universe, PB uses the gems of various princesses in the land to open a gateway to Prismo's time room. Funny enough, this is the first time we see PB and Marceline interact with Prismo. They ask him to cure Finn, and he hesitates. Then he tells Scarab to go check on something before revealing that he can no longer grant wishes.
Look. Sorry, guys. I got no wish Zazzle left.
This explains why we kept seeing him glitch every so often this season. When Scarab comes back, Prismo quickly teleports everyone away, having the most incriminating smile. It's clear he didn't want Scarab to know he can't grant wishes anymore, because if he can't, Scarab would likely replace him. Prismo was presumably about to explain to Simon what had really happened to him, which suggests that there's something deeper going on. I don't think it's as simple as it being a consequence of being trapped in a cube by Scarab in the first season, but I'm not ruling it out entirely. But let me outline a few other possible explanations for what is causing this. One, Prismo created Fionna and Cake's world and hid it in Simon's head, but now that it's officially a part of the multiverse, it's somehow taking away his powers. It would make the narrative more compelling, having Prismo suffer the consequences of him breaking the rules. Or two, his old man form, that sleeps for eternity to keep him alive, is waking up. Let's say he's entered a new, lighter stage of sleep that is somehow suppressing Prismo's powers. Let me know down below if you guys have any thoughts or theories. Honestly, after seeing this, I really wish I hadn't made the Prismo character analysis until this season came out. I love seeing new layers being added to characters characters from the original show. If you haven't already though, go check it out. It's a good recap of everything involving Prisma up until this new season. Anyways, after coming back, Marcy says that wish magic is off the table, which gives Simon an idea. He goes to the new Ice Kingdom where Gunther, or the Ice Thing, lives. This is actually the first episode he's name dropped within the show, I'm pretty sure. What I love is how unsettling and chaotic the kingdom looks now, where before Ice King had some sort of structure to things, but now towers all just tumble into one another. I think it says a lot about how the crown works. It transforms whoever wears it, as we know, but at the core, the person underneath is still there. Simon's, or Ice King's kingdom, had a sense of order and structure, reflecting Simon's personality. Again, mostly talking about the architecture. But now, Gunther having the crown, who we know to be Orgolorg, the destroyer of worlds, doesn't care about structure and only wants chaos, reflected through the various towers collapsing into one another. It looks like a death trap. Reminds me of those spikes in hell from the Dragon Ball Z movie Fusion Reborn. Simon eventually meets with the Ice Thing to ask for the demonic wishing eye. This thing was always referenced in many episodes, but we only saw it being used once, by Gunther himself. In the episode Reign of Gunthers, he summons an army of himself and basically starts jumping everyone.
That's over. We've been conquered.
He also does this.
Oh, that's great.
The point is that the wishing eye is called demonic for a reason, which means that even if Simon uses it to save Finn, it could have drastic consequences. It's also cute that when Ice Thing sees Simon, he says, "Hi, Daddy!" His cameo also supports the theory that he kidnaps Princess Bubblegum 1,000 years later, something that is hinted at in the Come Along With Me intro. We can see pink hands in this cage, and we do see a prison in his castle. On top of that, when Simon enters, the entire vibe of the kingdom feels so melancholic and desolate. I wouldn't be surprised if 1,000 years later, patient Saint Pym wakes up again, takes control of the Ice Thing, and wants to enact her elemental plan once again, and so she kidnaps PB. Back to the Fionna and Cake plot, we get some brief flashbacks of Fionna and DJ Flame's relationship. We see a cameo from someone who looks like Starchy, we even see a missing persons poster for him, and this character, who looks like this world's version of Lemon Hope. To be honest, I'm not scared to mention any more cameos ever since my huge up last week calling DJ Slime the gender-bent version of Betty. While she has these flashbacks, we see Huntress Wizard escape from the pot and do what she does best. Hunt. Fionna returns to see her all geared up. After feeding her, she grows even larger and escapes. But then Fionna saves her and she takes her to the market where Huntress starts devouring all kinds of meat, making her grow even larger. Then this happens.
Campbell!
A clear reference to Finn's iconic scream from the original show.
Finn!
Oh, and look, Magic Betty cameo. Huntress Wizard eventually grows to her original form and sees some beetroots fall to the floor. This causes her to think back to what Dream Warrior said to her in the last episode, interpreting it as a heartbeat. She thinks she needs to find the heart of the forest to get back home. I wasn't totally off with my interpretation last week. It was clear he meant heartbeat, but I took it as a sign that she needed to look inside herself and face her past. This could still be the case, so we'll see. Huntress Wizard runs off with Fionna and Cake following her. She says she needs to go back to Oo, and Fionna realizes she's from Simon's universe, so she calls him. Back in our universe, we see all the princesses gathered around Finn. But hang on a second, why the is Bandit Princess here? You know this asshole stole Finn's sword and is the reason Finn ended up destroying it, right? She caused him massive trauma, and honestly looking back, she's actually the entire reason Fern comes into existence. Wonder what happened between Finn and Bandit Princess to warrant her visiting him. Who knows, maybe she's planning something devious. Simon picks up and Huntress Wizard takes the phone, and we get some amazing character interactions. Huntress refuses to tell Simon and PB how she got to Fiona's world, with PB saying,
"Why are you being so cagey?
Stay out of my way, princess.
What, and just let Finn die?"
This one scene just reminds me why I love this show so much. It's such a short scene that says so much. It calls back to Huntress Wizard's personality of always refusing to let people in. When PB shouts at her, she's probably thinking she's the reason Finn got poisoned in the first place, which only gets her more pissed. I also appreciate how PB's frustration comes through here. She feels completely powerless, desperate to save someone she loves. Huntress Wizard then breaks Fiona's phone, which to me means say goodbye to communicating between worlds. It's gonna make the stakes even higher. Overall, this was yet again another solid episode of the show, and I'm even more excited for where the story is headed. Let me just give my honest thoughts on the season so far. It's no surprise that everything that happens in our universe involving Simon, PB, Marceline, and the others is the far more interesting plot. A big criticism I keep hearing is that Fionna and Cake's world is far too boring. Why is it following real life problems? Isn't this supposed to be the show where everything's wacky? I mean, it's a very valid point. I'm not nearly as interested in Fiona's plot, mainly because I don't find the will they won't they stuff particularly intriguing, especially if I don't care about the characters like that. I care about Finn and Huntress Wizard Wizard's relationship and their will they won't be status, because I saw that being built up in the OG show. I don't care much about Fiona's love triangle with Hunter and Felix because it's just too boring. Huntress Wizard is having an inner conflict of getting close to people, which is more or less the reason Finn even got poisoned. In that episode, he said,
"Trust in fate! The invisible forces of the universe will guide us right where we need to be."
Could that invisible force be that voice that speaks to Huntress Wizard when she arrives in that tree dimension? He led Finn to the forest, which caused him to get poisoned, caused Huntress Wizard to get involved, and will eventually get her to stop relying solely on herself and open up to people. Just more speculation on my end. The point is, Fiona's world just isn't interesting, and that's okay. It's clear the pair are joining Huntress Wizard on the main adventure of the series, probably to collect those seeds that landed in other universes, and in the final episode, we'll get a cute bow that ties Fiona's arc together. Cake has been extremely absent this season. I mean, she's there, but she hasn't been doing much other than effing around and auditioning for the TV show Cheers. We need more of her interacting with our OG characters. I'm a little worried the season might end with Huntress Wizard becoming the heart of the forest herself. To be fair, that idea, if it existed in a vacuum, is actually pretty cool. A moment of pure selflessness for a character who spent so long putting herself first. But there's one problem. Betty already kinda had that arc. She sacrificed everything she'd done for Simon and ultimately became an all-powerful deity. If Huntress Wizard follows that same trajectory, it'll feel like the show is repeating the same ideas over and over. Personally, this is the one time where I genuinely root for a happy ending for Finn and Huntress Wizard. Finn's been through so much. Jake's death, his feeling of not belonging, and never really finding someone to settle down with. Letting Huntress Wizard finally open her heart to him would be such a perfect conclusion to her arc. Be sure to subscribe as I'll be covering new episodes every week. Follow me on all my socials, please leave a like if you enjoyed, and leave a comment on some of the things you noticed. What do you think of Fionna and Cake so far? If you want to support me further, please consider joining my Patreon, and I want to thank you for watching.